Yo, yo, yo. How you guys doing today? So I've been doing these blues kind of lessons, and the next thing that comes to mind after the diminished stuff is the chromatic scale. And before I show you how to apply that to the blues progression and into improvising in general, I want to teach you a really nice chromatic scale lesson here, and there's a lot going on with this lesson, with this exercise. So some exercises are very fruitful, and I would say this is one of them. This is an exercise I've been doing for years, off and on. Sometimes I forget about it, but then I always come back to it because it's just such a good exercise. And I'm going to show it to you, and then I'm going to just tell you about all the benefits that you're going to get from doing this. Because as a teacher, I really want you to, I've spent a lot of time going down different paths and avenues, and there's a lot of dead ends, there's a lot of wasted time in that. So as a teacher, I want to be able to show you some paths that are very fruitful for you, for your playing, for your musical understanding, and that you're not wasting your time, and this is definitely one of them. So the chromatic scale there's only one chromatic scale, technically speaking. It's just all the notes, and so one of the ways to look at it on one string would be pretty simple. You can play with one finger and just slide down, and that's just one octave. Now, the exercise here is, though, we're going to play every single note on the guitar. Now, not every fret, every note from lowest to highest. So I've got 4 octaves on my guitar. I've got a 24 fret guitar. It doesn't matter. Most guitars, 21, 22, around there. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to blaze a path playing all the notes, and we're going to end up here, and then we're going to come back down. Now, there are a lot of ways to get from here to here. If you know, if you're a math wizard and you can figure that out, I'd love to hear it in the comments. I'm pretty good with math myself, but I haven't spent it. It just seems like it's a hard math problem. It seems like it's a big number. But I'm going to show you, first of all, I want you to practice this. This is going to be the first thing you want to do, and it's kind of the easiest way to see it. And it's also really important to see this on this end of the guitar. So check it out. Chromatic scale, I'm going to play from the lowest to the highest note. I'm going to play every single note this guitar has to offer. Not every fret, every note. Okay? Back down. Okay, so now what's going on there? There's a few things that are going on. First of all, if you may notice, you can play over 2 octaves every single note without even shifting position. First position here. Also, I'm using every finger. So this is a really good exercise for your fingers, strengthening your fingers, for developing your touch. Also, I'm alternate picking, and then changing strings. Okay, so there's a lot going on there. Also, just recognizing, like, look at this is well over 2 octaves right here. You can do a lot in this part of the guitar, and also you can kind of see why the guitar was built the way it was. Again, you don't have to shift. Now I am playing open strings, open, 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 open. Not on the B string though. You got to go to that C because the B string's tuned a little differently. and then open. Now this is where a skill that you start to develop here. This is where this is actually pretty frustrating at first. We go from not shifting positions at all to shifting every note. Now you don't have to play it this way, obviously. You could do something like, if you wanted to do that, that's something I might need to practice, but I like to just lead with the pinky and shift. And this is a really good exercise because we don't, as guitar players, we don't practice shifting very often. I mean, we do shift, of course, but it's not like something we practice. So this is a really good exercise. And then coming back, I'm leading with my first finger, okay? So that's just one of many routes. I'm just going straight down and then straight over. And I just played 4 octaves, 4 full octaves. I played every single note on this guitar. Now, I didn't play any notes in this area of the guitar because simply they're all up here. They're all, you know, they're all there. Now, once you do that, that's great. Now I want you to, there's another part of this. Now we obviously, as guitar players, we want to use the whole instrument. So now the next way to do this is a really fun way, which is you make your own path. And I'm just going to do you a little quick example. So for example here, I'm going to keep going on this string until maybe I want to switch. And when I come back down, Okay, so what am I doing there? So I'm doing the same thing. I just played every single note on the guitar, only one time. But I went out a little further on the E string, and then I changed strings and went, and you basically decide when you want to switch strings, and there's this pattern that kind of shows up on the fretboard. So let's just talk about the pattern. It's really simple. So I want you to start on the B, 7th fret on the E string. This is a B. And we're going to play B, we're going to play 2 octaves, B to B here. So all you got to do is, each finger is assigned a fret here. We got B, C, C sharp, D. Now when we skip a string, this is important information. We're going to the next string. Obviously, if we wanted to play the next note on this string, we just slide over one, but we're going to another string. You have to shift backwards 1 fret. That's where that note lives. Okay? So, and this is also good information. You're learning how the guitar is structured, literally, the foundation of what's going on here. So, same thing until you get to that B string, and then you don't shift. And then you shift again for the E string. If you want to play that B, that's 2 full octaves. Coming down, you gotta just do the opposite. Shift back, or shift, you could say forward, however you want to look at it. So, now knowing that, you can come out as far as you want on the guitar. You can go as far down as you want, and then shift, and then shift. Which is why I said earlier, there's so many ways to do this. I have no idea how many different ways there are. But I would assume millions of ways to do this. And so, great exercise here. And then I've got a lesson I'm going to teach you also. I just wanted to get this as kind of a prerequisite here, information that you need to know for the next lesson, which is applying it to the blues. So anyway, I hope this lesson helps. Again, the things that you're going to get out of this exercise, great. Every finger's being used. Shifting. And make sure you use a metronome. I'm not using a metronome here, but I use a metronome every time I do this exercise. And take your time with it. And just really recognize, look, you're learning the nuts and bolts of the fretboard here. Half step, half steps. How do half steps work? If I'm coming up, if I'm in a scale and I want to go up a half step from here, that's it. It's always going to be that shift, one backwards, unless I'm doing it from to the B string. And then, so yeah. This is just one of those lessons here, just mostly an exercise. And I mean, if you have questions about this, been getting a lot of more comments lately. Really appreciate the interaction, and it seems like these videos are definitely helping some people. So hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.